everyone, and welcome. My name is Dr. Heather Carden, and I am one of your Prove It Ketone specialists, coming to you live to help answer your questions about ketones, ketosis, and exogenous ketones. So hopefully this is a nice surprise for some of you who can't normally join us maybe over your lunch hour at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. So today we have a new time today to hopefully help people, again, who might have missed it at lunch but can actually join us now. So while we're waiting for our Prove It friends to gather on, you can share this to your own Facebook page, you can tag friends in it, you can always share later. But my mission today is to help you better understand the Prove It products, ketones, and ketosis. So just a couple minutes about myself while our friends are joining on. My name is Dr. Heather Carden. I am a wellness practitioner and co-owner of Carden Center for Wellness in Overland Park, Kansas. A little bit about my background: I'm a mom of 4. I have been focusing on the function of our body, or as a functional medicine, learning more about how we optimize our own body's health. We do a lot of pain and inflammation at our clinic, but with that being said, we always focus on food. I've been teaching low carb, high fat, ketogenic diet for almost 2 decades now, so you can imagine how excited I was when I heard there was the first pure therapeutic exogenous ketone. So I am here today to help you better understand that conversation. If you are brand new to ketones or brand new to the ketone conversation, welcome, and please bring your friends next time. You can go back and watch this video afterwards. You can go back and see the last 3 or 4 weeks or months of videos to better help understand that. So again, welcome everyone who's coming from around the US, from across the globe in Australia, from Canada. So hello to everyone out there. Let's just get started and start talking about what ketones are. Ketones are simply a byproduct of fatty acid metabolism. It is a normal thing that our body does. Babies are actually in ketosis at about 20 weeks. We know as long as they're breastfed, they're actually in ketosis. And ketosis simply means we're burning fat for fuel. If we're a sugar burner, so we're having a diet high in carbohydrates, then we're generally not burning ketones. In order for our body to actually get in ketosis or burn fat for fuel, we have to either go on a very low carb, high fat diet called a ketogenic diet, or we need to actually go on a fast or starvation diet for 2 or 3 days in order for our body to use all the glucose. Then and only then will our body go out and grab that fat, break it down, and make what's called ketones. Our body has 2 fuel sources. It can either use glucose from carbohydrates, or it can use fat from ketones, or healthy fats like nuts and seeds, olives, avocados. All those things break down into what's called ketones. Ketones have amazing benefits. So if you are new, or your friend actually sent you to join us today, you've probably heard amazing testimonies or experiences they've had. So please continue to share those. So simply looking back, ketones are a byproduct of fat metabolism, and ketosis simply means we're burning fat for fuel. So I'm excited to be here to help you understand the conversation better. So I just saw a question about anxiety and ketones. Ketones are simply an energy source for our body. We know our body needs energy in order to do our day-to-day operations. We also know that ketones are amazing neurosignalers. So they actually decrease or dampen our excitatory neurons. So oftentimes people will say, I feel like I have better focus, I'm less anxious, I can get to bed easier. That's because ketones downregulate our excitatory neurons and kind of shuttle the pathway over to our inhibitory neurotransmitters, so we can have a better time or an easier time being relaxed, better time focusing, a better time getting to sleep. So the signaling properties are still being studied today as we talk. So much more information is going to be coming out the next few years, and it's so exciting, but we do know that ketones do decrease excitatory neurons. I'm in the trenches with patients day to day. I don't do any research myself. I'm simply sharing with you studies, clinical research that I've actually read about or studied, or experiences that I've heard over the last 20 years. So questions here. So again, thanks everyone for joining us. So ketones and performance. So performance can be a very big umbrella. It can be just a mom trying to get through her day-to-day operations, maybe folding laundry, vacuuming, or it can be an elite athlete. So we generally recommend that people start using ketones, and 1 serving is considered therapeutic, 2 is optimal performance. Kind of identify what your health goal is when you start taking ketones. Is it for better energy? Is it for less anxiety? Is it to help avoid the hunger or craving? So with that being said, again, once you identify maybe it is for fatigue, use your ketones about 30 minutes before your hangry, hungry, tired time. So if you know that your energy dips between 1 and 4, maybe 1 to 2 o'clock, then maybe 12:30 to 1, you'd take a serving of Keto OS or Biomax. So again, sorry, just reading questions here to make sure I understand that. So when you start using the Keto OS products, we're going to recommend that you start slowly. Again, the amazing thing is that you can drink one packet. I'm going to use the raspberry lemonade, one packet, and get your body into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. Before, if we recall, the ketogenic diet can take weeks or days to get into ketosis, or again, on a starvation plan or a fasting plan of 2 or 3 days, you'll get your body in ketosis. Now you can simply drink this and put your body into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. With that being said, they're very powerful and very strong. So start slowly. Focus on getting your body adapted and used to burning ketones again. So maybe start with a half a serving the first 2 or 3 days and then continue to increase those. Someone had asked a question I saw about hair loss and ketones. So ketones, again, are simply a fuel source that our body can use. If you're using ketones for body recomposition and you found yourself losing a lot of inflammation or maybe some body water, some pounds maybe have changed on the scale, we know that the Keto OS and Max are not a weight loss supplement, but the benefits do lead to fat loss. And they also are an amazing anti-inflammatory, and they help pull water and toxins out of fat cells. So if you've seen a big change on the scale or a big change in your clothes and you know that you've lost quite a bit of inflammation and fat cells, what can also happen as your body gets rid of that unwanted toxins or waste or actually just excess water inside those fat cells, your body also carries along some essential things like magnesium and potassium, some of the electrolytes that we need. So if you're experiencing maybe some hair loss, and I'd make sure that, again, check with your healthcare provider, have your minerals checked, see what your magnesium and potassium are, and make sure that you're eating enough protein. But again, that's a simple blood test that your primary care physician can do. There is no known side effect that ketones cause hair loss. It simply is probably just your body's way of getting rid of all that inflammation. Yes, Trisha, ketones are safe to use with pregnancy. We know that about 20 weeks when the baby's in utero actually goes into ketosis or burning mom's fat for fuel. Ketones are safe if you're pregnant, safe if you're nursing. I would recommend you use the uncharged or caffeine-free version, and always check with your healthcare provider first. And a lot of these questions are simply found in the Help Center also. So I'm seeing a lot of questions about diabetes and medication. So to date, we opened and went up for sales September 1st, 2015. There has been no clinical contraindications with any pharmaceutical drugs or supplements. What that means is we have not found or we have not discovered that there has been any contraindication, meaning there's not a reason if you're taking this medication or that medication that the ketones interfere with any of that. So it is safe to take with any medication because it is simply a naturally occurring process that happens in our body. Our body does make ketones. Elite athletes oftentimes go into ketosis when they hit or go through that wall. Sometimes when people are sleeping, they actually naturally go into ketosis. So it is a natural system that our body does. So nausea questions here. So if you're feeling nauseated when you're starting the Keto OS or Biomax, that can be a little bit normal. What happens is if you've been on a carbitarian diet or the standard Western diet where you're actually consuming 45 to 65% carbohydrates, your body has become a sugar burner, not a fat burner like it was when you came into this world. So as we introduce the ketones back into your body, if your body's not been on a dual fuel source, you're not an elite athlete or endurance athlete, or you're not a person with a lower body fat, your body switches into and out of ketosis, which again is very natural for a lot of athletes, then give your body a little bit of time. The nausea is telling your body, hey, I'm not used to that yet. I would suggest that you use a reduced serving of the ketones, so maybe a half a serving or a fourth of a serving. Have a little bit of fat or protein, so a couple bites of chicken, maybe a spoonful of guacamole, 3 or 4 olives. Have a little bit of fat or protein with that to help reduce the nausea, and actually will slow the absorption down until your body gets acclimated back to that native state. And that's really what it's about, getting back to our native state where our body functions the most optimal. So Angie's asking, what are the top 5 foods that kick you out of ketosis? So let's talk about that for a second. When we drink Keto OS or Biomax, or we drink the exogenous ketones, it puts our body into a state of ketosis in less than 59 minutes. The duration time that you'll be there really depends on so many different factors. We're all very individualized. Say that you have a very low body fat and you're an endurance athlete and you drink your max and then you go work out, your body can naturally get into ketosis, and you could actually be in ketosis for maybe 6-7 hours or 24 24 hours a day. If you're already fat adapted and using the ketones, you can experience a heightened level of ketones. So there's no big list of foods that kick you out of ketosis. We know that the keto OS is water soluble. That's why it's safe womb to tomb. So the duration of time that you'll experience being in ketosis, if you're not fat adapted, so you're on a standard Western diet and a sugar burner, will change for everyone. There's not one particular food that will kick you in or out of it, but what happens is when you drink the ketones, your body uses what it needs and it excretes what it doesn't need. So that's when they're coming out of ketosis, the body is actually done utilizing what it can do. So Bonnie's asking some questions about electrolytes and minerals and potassium. So Bonnie, potassium is one of those things that your doctor actually needs to check by blood work. Electrolytes come in a lot of different combinations. I would just recommend that you use a very clean one, so it's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, soy-free, and use one that's very clean that maybe your doctor recommends. But for potassium, I cannot make any potassium recommendations, nor can the other specialists, because that's something that really needs to be determined based on blood work. So great question. Karen says, why do you need to drink a lot of water with the ketones? First of all, beta-hydroxybutyrate is a ketone body in Keto OS and Biomax. It's very acidic in nature, just like our stomachs. Our stomachs are meant to be acidic with a pH of about 1.5 to about 2. We know ketones are an amazing anti-inflammatory, so it helps pull water out of those fat cells. So with that being said, you'll see the proper ratio of sodium in each of the different formulas with the beta-hydroxybutyrate, but you also want to replenish the water that's being carried out through our body as our body utilizes the ketones. So I would say just make sure, again, you're going to look at the back of the package. It's going to tell you to mix 1 serving with 12 to 16 ounces of water, because we want to replace what is lost through the normal diuretic process. So Sonia's asking if medications or different diseases. So the answer can be yes. Her question was, can different disease processes, she asked about fibromyalgia or different pharmaceuticals, actually change the effect of what your body has? And that would be true for any supplementation, whether it's an iron supplement or a digestive enzyme or an exogenous ketones. If our bodies are not at the maximum healthy state, your body will utilize it a little bit differently. If your body's been through a lot of healthcare concerns or crises over the last couple decades, that's going to vary how your body uses it. But again, the amazing thing is that ketones are water soluble. So you drink them, your body uses what it needs and it excretes what it doesn't need. Other water-soluble supplements are things like vitamin C and vitamin B. They do not build up in your body. They don't get accumulated in your fat cells. Your body simply uses what it needs and it excretes out what it doesn't need. And with knowing that ketones are a great diuretic, we again want to make sure your electrolyte balance is nice and balanced. And we also want to make sure that you are drinking plenty of water to help replace again what is lost through that normal diuretic process. So Kathy's asking about other things. So we're going to focus today really on Keto OS and Biomax. I know there's people asking about when to take a probiotic, when to take an electrolyte. Some of those things actually can be determined with your healthcare practitioner. So it may be something that your doctor recommends. But what the amazing thing is, Kathy, is that the chocolate has a prebiotic in it. It has inulin or chicory root. So the chocolate swirler 3.0 has inulin, or it's called chicory root, which is a prebiotic. It helps run healthy gut bugs. So if you've had a history of digestive issues, it's an amazing option to use, because maybe the MCT oil in the orange was a little bit too strong for your body, or you aren't fat adapted yet. That's an amazing option, and the prebiotic is in there. But you can take a prebiotic or probiotic with any of the other formulas that you choose, because this does not replace a multivitamin. It does not replace a vitamin D. It does not replace a protein shake. It is not a meal replacement. It is simply an energy source that you can drink and get all those amazing benefits of ketones, which are better focus, better sleep, better energy, clear thinking, better cognition, better recall, better digestion, lots of ways that your body gets better, because we're giving your body that native fuel source at the cellular level, more oxygen, more ATP, which is gasoline for our bodies. We call it ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's what our cells need to actually thrive and survive on. So when you're putting a fuel source like ketones into your body that are water soluble at that cellular level, that's why people's again, your brain starts to function much better. I'm seeing a question about dementia. So absolutely, we found that ketones can help with dementia. It can help with recall. It can help with Alzheimer's. I know we're going to hear more from Dr. Mary Newport at Keto Academy about the amazing benefits of ketones and cognition, and also with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. Okay, great question, Larissa. She said, what do you mean fat adapted? I'm sorry, I apologize for that. So if people are fat adapted, it means that you're already on a ketogenic diet. You're already living in ketosis 24/7. That's a diet that you've chosen to be on, maybe like that's different than a vegan diet. A low carb, high fat diet isn't always a ketogenic diet, because a low carb, high fat diet just means you're simply lowered your carbohydrates, maybe less than 50 or 60, but that doesn't mean you're getting into ketosis. If you're fat adapted, it means your body is using 24/7 your fat for fuel. So it's grabbing your fat cells, breaking them down, liver's doing all that. And those are called endogenous ketones. So that's when your liver's doing all the work, grabbing the fat and breaking it down. When we're talking about Prove It products, we're talking about exogenous ketones, which means outside the body. Your liver doesn't have to do anything. I saw a gallbladder question. There's no worries because your gallbladder doesn't need to do anything. You simply need water, and you need to have the package and shake it up and drink it. So there's no worries if your gallbladder's maybe been removed, or maybe you've had some liver or I saw non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, if your liver's had some health issues, because again, your body does not need anything besides your esophagus and your stomach and your small intestine to absorb it. So I hope that makes sense when we say it's water soluble. You simply drink it, it gets into the bloodstream, and your body uses it. We don't need any gallbladder salts, we don't need any amylase or lipase or pancreatic enzymes. And I saw a question about kidneys. Yes, it is safe if you've had a health history concern with kidney or with your liver, because again, it's water soluble. Your body simply uses what it needs and it excretes what it doesn't need. Tracy's asking about kidney stones. So there is some information on a traditional ketogenic diet when your body's making endogenous ketones. Again, that's when your liver and kidney are doing all the work, where there can't actually be an accumulation or potential to have a kidney stone. But if you go to the Help Center, there's a great paragraph answering that question, that yes, Keto OS and Max, because they're water soluble, again, your liver's not making them, that it is safe for you to have if you've had a kidney transplant, a history of kidney stones. But again, always check with your healthcare provider before starting any new product. And again, I want to welcome, I see lots of people are joining on, so welcome today. We've changed the time up on you a little bit, but sometimes can be helpful for people who maybe miss us during the middle of the day just because it's over their lunch hour. So thank you for joining me this afternoon. Jennifer, great question about blood pressure. This is a common question. Ketones, we talked about, are an amazing diuretic. We also know that they deliver more oxygen per molecule, or help save oxygen. We also know that they help reduce anxiety by reducing our excitatory neurons. So blood pressure can often be a result of dehydration. It can be a result of people who are shallow breathers, or maybe their cardiovascular system isn't working quite right, or they're out of shape, I'm trying to say. So if we know that ketones deliver more oxygen, it's going to actually help our blood pressure. And if you do have a blood pressure concern, please use the uncharged version. And again, monitor your blood pressure daily as your doctor recommends. And the same would be true for anxiety, because again, if we downregulate our excitatory neurons or help tone them down, it means that our pulse should be more calm. And I've had a lot of people reporting that their waking pulse is actually lower than it has been, which is great. It's telling us that our body's getting better for cardiovascular support. So the sodium content, Kayla, I'm trying to read that whole question there. So if you look at the back of the Prove It products, you're going to see that there is a different sodium content in each of the different products. What our formulators have done is they have found the perfect ratio to what our body will potentially lose through that normal diuretic process that ketones occur. So you'll see that the Max, or the Maui Punch, has the least amount of sodium, and you'll see the orange, because it has the MCT, which our body can make additional ketones, has a little bit more sodium in that. So if you're concerned with the sodium content, then I would suggest that you start with the Max, and again, check with your healthcare provider and monitor your blood pressure. The first sign of dehydration can actually be headache or fatigue or maybe slower bowels. So with that being said, if you know you have a blood pressure issue or you're already on a water pill pharmaceutically, then again, make sure you're drinking plenty of water to replace what's lost throughout that. And again, we always say about a half an ounce per body pound on a normal person. So I'm going to answer, I've seen that 3 or 4 times. So the question about electrolytes and minerals and which one to recommend. So we talk about ketones being an amazing diuretic or natural anti-inflammatory to get rid of that inflammation at the cellular level. So as we lose inflammation, we can lose important nutrients like magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Again, the formulators have done amazing jobs. So big shout out to Ryan Lowry and Dr. Jacob in the lab there of making that ratio. So it is get put back into the body what we're losing as we're drinking the ketones and as our body processes those. But if you know you're drinking enough water and you start having leg cramps or you start experiencing maybe some headache, then I would check with your doctor. It's a simple blood test to check your magnesium level, or take a multi-mineral that has a nice balance of different minerals in them, from magnesium to potassium to zinc to, again, a multi-mineral can have 13 different minerals in that. So just take a good brand that's clean, doesn't have any artificial coloring, artificial flavors, things like that in there. And stay tuned, because I know that hopefully there will be an electrolyte that will be complimentary through Prove It. It's okay to say that. I'm blushing because I'm not supposed to, but I did hear it at a conference in Dallas that we're anticipating an amazing electrolyte balance done by our amazing formulator. So stay tuned for that. So the ketones in the OS, that's a great question. Somebody said, what's the difference in the ketones in the OS versus the max? So the OS, whether it's the chocolate or whether it's the orange, the beta hydroxybutyrate is the same molecule. What our formulators have done with the max, whether it is Swiss cacao, whether it's raspberry lemonade, or whether it's Maui punch, they've taken that beta hydroxybutyrate and they've blended and twisted it so it's about 40% more efficient. Again, it depends on each person's body. Again, about 40% stronger, more efficient. So you'll actually experience a quicker, higher peak in ketosis and a longer duration while in ketosis, so your body can more efficiently use the ketones that are blended. So the flavors have changed. You'll see the salt changes are a little bit different with the different flavors, but the difference between the OS and the max is the maximum amount of pure therapeutic exogenous ketones that you can get in a supplement and get into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. I see about 5 or 6 questions in a row, so I've seen thyroid on there a couple of times. So first, Keto OS again and Max is an energy supply for your body. Ketones are an energy source that our body can use at the cellular level. Our thyroid is the ignition for our body. Our adrenals are the engine for our body. So if you have a history of thyroid issue, and I know if you go to the Facebook page when we're done here and you search bar there someone's experience with thyroid or adrenal glands or cortisol imbalance or adrenal fatigue, if we're putting our body's native fuel source into our body, water soluble, the liver, kidney, stomach, gallbladder doesn't have to do anything. It's taking all the stress off the digestive system, that our body can actually use those ketones in less than just a few minutes. It makes sense that our thyroid's actually going to run much more efficiently, and our adrenal glands, which is the engine for our body, is actually going to run much more efficiently because we're giving it our body's natural fuel source. And the supplements are gluten-free, soy-free, nut-free. You'll know that the ketone salts in the Max are kosher certified. Max is vegan certified. So you're getting the cleanest source of beta hydroxybutyrate that you can get into your body. That makes sense that our thyroid's going to run much better, and again, it's not going to interfere with your prescription medication, but again, check with your healthcare provider before starting any new supplement. And again, I see people jumping on because I know we switched the time today, so welcome everyone. So Nicole's a couple of things. So there's been 2 or 3 questions about ketones and cholesterol. So cholesterol or high cholesterol can be caused from a variety of issues. It can be caused from maybe there is a small genetic component to it, which can cause people to have high cholesterol. But let's focus on triglycerides. Triglycerides are the things that actually clump together with LDLs and cause plaquing and cardiovascular disease. We know that MCT oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride in the orange, there's many studies showing that MCT oil actually helps reduce triglycerides. Again, triglycerides are the ones that are most elevated when you're on a high sugar diet, having sugary juices, eating lots of fruits. So when we see that people are experiencing that their cholesterol is actually lowering using the Keto OS, generally it's because ketones reduce sugar cravings, so you're eating less sugar. Ketones also balance out our insulin, so we're having a better insulin balance, we're having less cravings and less snacking throughout the day. We also know that it's a thermogenic. That means it actually increases the way our body runs, or the engine for our body, so we're getting a better metabolic rate, which can help turn over and actually help lower cholesterol. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it seems a little bit unclear, but the ketones themselves, or the beta hydroxybutyrate Max, you will not see that lower cholesterol is one of the benefits on the side of the can. However, we know that we see with MCT oil and a higher thermogenic, or your metabolism running better and you have less cravings, you're going to help get rid of some of that unwanted cholesterol as your body stops craving those things. So again, another question about blood pressure. Lots of blood pressure questions today. Think of ketones as an energy source for your body. If you have low blood pressure, that can be caused from adrenal fatigue. It can be caused from electrolyte imbalance. It can be caused from thyroid imbalance. There's many different causes of low blood pressure. Keto OS, one of the benefits you're going to see on the side of the can It does not say better blood pressure. However, we experience many people having a stabler blood pressure because we're getting more oxygen at a cellular level and more fuel. Think of our heart as just a pump getting the energy out to our body. So we see that our blood pressure actually gets more balanced. There are some clinical studies about that, but you're going to see again when we're talking about the benefits that we have about ketones in our body. We have had incidences and many experiences of it actually lowering people's blood pressure because the more oxygen. But again, if it's lowering blood pressure, we've actually seen the extra salts in the ketones actually help the electrolyte balance out. Watery stool. So if your body is not fat adapted and your body's not used to it, and we talked about ketones being an amazing diuretic, as we start to pull water out of the gut, especially if you have a lot of gut inflammation, you can get watery stools. If it lasts longer than 2 or 3 days, and if it's crampy or an emergency, simply just reduce your serving and start with maybe 1/4 of a serving or maybe just a 1/2 a serving, and eat a little bit of food with it. So have a little bit of fat, some olives, some nut butter as a fat bomb, a deviled egg, a couple bites of protein. Have a little bit of fat or protein with it. That will slow down the absorption, which should help with the bowels. But again, listen to your body. Some of it can be a great thing. If you've had a lot of gut inflammation, you start using Keto OS or Max and you have some increased bowel movements that are watery, again, that's hopefully just inflammation getting out of your body. If it's uncomfortable and lasts longer than a couple of days, then simply really just reduce your serving size back down. Hopefully that makes sense. And if you're conversely having constipation, number one, make sure you have plenty of magnesium in your body or your electrolytes are balanced, and make sure you're drinking plenty of water. The major function of our large intestine is to get ready for evacuation. So if evacuation is not happening or you're having mild constipation, simply just increase your water intake. I saw fertility, and I'm going to ask 2 more questions before we get off today. So Keto OS and Biomax, again, they're an energy source. They're our native fuel source. There are no hormones in any of the supplements. Beta hydroxybutyrate is a ketone body. It is not a hormone. However, there's so much information emerging now that ketones are amazing signalers. We think of our brain being 60% fat. Ketones are amazing signalers for our brain. Our pituitary, our hypothalamus signal things like our thyroid, signal things like our reproductive organs. So you're going to hear people experiencing that their hot flashes are better, or their testosterone levels better. They're feeling better when they work out. Their moods are better. It's because of that signaling property that, again, there are leading researchers all over the globe today studying more about that. Come to Keto Academy. I know you're going to hear more about hormones and ketones and the neuroprotective signaling properties, but there is no hormone in beta hydroxybutyrate. It's simply a signaler for our body, so we get that communication happening much better, and that's why people are having much better experiences. Question I saw, do you have to be on a ketogenic diet? The answer is no. That's the amazing thing. You don't have to go on a starvation diet. You don't have to go on a ketogenic diet, which is 5% carbs and about 80 to 90% fat. You can simply drink the Keto OS and be on any diet that you choose, whether it is a vegan diet, whether it is just a low-carb, high-fat diet, a gluten-free diet, a kosher diet. You can get all those amazing benefits without having to count your macros, without having to calculate everything that you're eating. Simply getting the ketones into your body is a better energy source. And what happens when your body has its native energy source like ketones, you start to think more clear. You stop having cravings. You stop I would say what happens is people have this better energy source. They feel like they can do more. They can actually cook their meals instead of grabbing for garbage. They're sleeping much better, which actually makes you function much better the next day. So again, it's just an amazing source for our body. And what ultimately happens is that ketones do reduce cravings. It does help balance out our blood sugar. It does help give us better levels of blood sugar, which means better moods, which means that we're not eating maybe emotionally. If you're one of those people who get sad or happy and want to grab a sugary thing, the ketones actually stop some of that craving process from happening. So ultimately, people are finding a better body composition. They're finding themselves craving vegetables instead of craving the garbage. So when you fix the brain and you get the signaling properties and you get the native fuel back in the body at that cellular level, amazing things can happen. Yeah, everyone's saying reducing craving, reducing craving, reducing craving. So I'm just going to do a quick run through of the products because our time is almost over. I did want to just give you a few extra minutes today because a little bit of IT problems that I have. So and know that Prove It does endorse. I saw the word garbage. That's just carbohydrate or non-food items. It's a slang word that I use. I should have just said processed foods or sugary foods. But we know that the native style of eating, which Prove It does endorse, is eating healthy vegetables and lean meats and making just again a clean diet, no artificial flavorings, no artificial coloring. So with that being said, said, let's run through our products. So we talked about the OS having the beta hydroxybutyrate. This is why we drink the ketones. We drink it for the beta hydroxybutyrate. The orange, or the 2.1, if you've heard it cause that, has a little bit of MCT oil. You'll also see that it also has iodine and B12. That's simply occurring from the little bit of dairy that's been used to help plate the MCT oil to the beta hydroxybutyrate. So if you have a dairy allergy or sensitivity, I wouldn't recommend orange. But if you're already fairly fat adapted or already living on a low carb, high fat diet and you want the extra MCT oil, this is an amazing choice for you to have, because you're going to be able to take that extra MCT oil and break it down to make additional ketones and extra energy, and like we talked about, actually reduce some triglycerides. If you have stomach issues, or if you've had a history of stomach issues, or know that your tummy is sensitive or have a dairy allergy, Chocolate Swirl is 3.0. It is an amazing kind of Tootsie Roll flavor. It has those additional prebiotics we talked about earlier. So if you have a sensitive stomach or you've had some issues, you now have an option. It's chicory root or inulin. Again, it's called, either thing is the same thing. It's a prebiotic to help try on healthy gut bugs. So if you drink the 3.0 and you have a little bit of extra gas, that's actually a great thing, because you're turning on healthy gut bugs in your stomach, if you've heard about that, making a healthier gut flora. It also has additional ketone-friendly amino acids, which we can all use, whether you're a growing child or an aging person. So a lot of amazing benefits. If you need it to be dairy-free, OS or Max is your option. I dropped my Swiss cacao. Then we have the Max. The Max, again, they took the beta hydroxybutyrate, that's our amazing formulators, and they blended the beta hydroxybutyrate, so it's almost 40% more efficient. So it is the most potent ketone body on the market. So we have it in Maui Punch, Raspberry Lemonade, and Swiss Cacao. And you're going to see a lot of labels on the bottom. These are very, very important when you're talking about the purity and you're talking about the how clean the product is, how important it is to have the salts kosher certified, it's vegan certified, it's sport informed certified. That means Prove It has used the best products on the market to actually make the supplements. It also has vegan friendly amino acids that our body can actually increase protein synthesis and make more ketone bodies. So it's just a win-win situation. So I always recommend people try them with water first, pick the flavor that you like, and then again, there's lots of different recipes. You can do half orange, half Max, half Swiss cacao, half chocolate. Like we mentioned earlier, they're all gluten-free, I know, which is very important to so many people. They are soy-free, mushroom-free, shellfish-free. Again, a little bit of iodine in the orange is just from what's naturally occurring in the dairy, and the salts in the Max are kosher certified. Peanut-free as well. I just want to take a couple more questions here before we jump off, and hopefully I brought some value to your day, hoping I see everybody in Keto Academy. So give me a big 1 if you're going to Keto Academy. I cannot wait to see you all. The countdown is on, just a few more sleeps away. And if you had friends that missed us and you know there was some important information, maybe they wanted to know more about hypertension we talked about, or maybe about thyroid, or maybe about they were having some diarrhea, you can replay this later. You can share it on your own Facebook page. You can tag a friend in it. So I see lots of ones, which is great. A lot of people coming to Keto Academy. Tanilla, I am going to answer that question. So she's asking about weight gain. So number one, we know that the Prove It products are not a weight loss supplement. However, the byproducts of having ketones in your body can lead to fat loss. Conversely, if you're the person who's actually gaining weight and you've seen that scale move, number one, I would ask, if you're trying to go to a more low carb, high fat diet, oftentimes people will start eating a lot more dairy and a lot more nuts, trying to get more healthy fats in, so they're still having too many calories. Or if your body's simply just acclimating to the salt balance, oftentimes fat cells themselves will actually hold on to water for 2 or 3 days, then it will let go of it, but go by how you feel. Or as your body burns that stored fat, you're actually increasing lean muscle mass, which could actually also change the scale. So the scale could go up if, number one, you're just overeating. It could go up if your body's increasing lean muscle mass and getting more muscle mass and losing that unwanted fat or visceral fat that we know could increase some health risk. Or you're just simply retaining onto some water. With that being said, if you're the person that's retaining more water, simply make sure you're drinking more water. Maybe reduce your serving. If you're doing 2 a day, go down to 1 a day for a couple of days. Let your body just get acclimated or adjusted to it, and then increase it as your body feels it. So 3 questions about keto flu. So I actually call it carbohydrate flu. If you take your normal diet, your normal standard American diet, and you start using the Prove It products, you should not experience a keto flu or a carb flu. Most people experience that keto flu or carb flu when they're actually reducing carbohydrates. So that is not caused from the beta hydroxybutyrate, that's caused from your dietary shift that you're making. As you pull those carbohydrates out, we know that sugar can be very addictive. It can be classified actually as a drug, because when we take sugar away, your body can have headaches, you can have mood changes, you can have bowel changes. So with that being said, if you're the person who's trying to use the ketones to get on a more ketogenic diet and you're having some carb flu, make sure your electrolytes are balanced. Add a little bit of extra of the keto OS in, or a little bit more of the max, and just listen to your body. So as that shift starts to happen, just go slow and steady. There's no finish line tomorrow. It's taken your body a long time to get in the health status that it's in. It may take just as long to get back there. So if your body's been unhealthy, or you've had cholesterol or blood pressure issue, or you've had excess unwanted weight for 2 or 3 decades, give your body some time. I know everyone's so excited to feel better, but again, slow and steady wins a race. Give your body time. Be kind to your body and be patient with it, and allow it to make those changes, because we're making changes at the cellular level. We're giving oxygen to the cell. So oftentimes people get confused with energy. Energy is not caffeine or one of those little shot things that you buy. Energy for our body is oxygen. We know we can only go about a minute, right? Without oxygen, we can't go very long. So when we're using a fuel source like beta hydroxybutyrate and getting more oxygen at that cellular level, the body has a chance to really function optimally. That's why so many people say, they have this amazing focus, their recall is great, they remember where they parked their car after they worked out or they went to the grocery store. And last question I saw there, why would they be experiencing cold using ketones? That's simply just the body shifting. So again, make sure your electrolytes are balanced. Maybe take an Epsom salt bath. You might need to actually increase your serving of ketones to help get that metabolism up and running. Everyone's body is unique and different, so just go slow and steady. Again, be kind, listen to your body. I wouldn't worry about the ketone stick turning red or your blood meter reading unless your doctor has specifically recommended that you be on a ketogenic diet. Number one, identify why you're using the ketones, why you said yes to it. Was it for muscle preservation? Was it for better performance? Was it for brain fog? Was it for increased focus? Was it for appetite suppression? Was it for increase in strength gain? Was it for better digestion? Was it for clearer skin? So identify why you're using the product, and identify what your healthcare goals are, and then listen to those. If it's for better energy, you want to take the Keto OS or the Max 30 minutes before your hangry, hungry, or tired time. So if you dip down at 11 o'clock in the morning, you want to have those ketones about 30 minutes before. If it's 4 o'clock, then you want to have your ketones about 30 minutes before that 4 o'clock time, or before your body really starts to dip down, because you're getting that water-soluble energy at the cellular level. Again, it's a source that your body can use right away. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for having a time switch with me, and everyone who's joined us. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at Keto Academy. Super, super excited to see you. I know I see questions coming, so it makes me want to stay on and keep answering questions. So if I did not answer your question today, you can review all the last Wednesday specialists from many of our other specialists coming live to answer questions. If you jumped on late, you can replay this and listen to the first bit of it. If you don't know where the help center is, if you go to proveitnow.com, there's a little question mark in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that question mark. It'll open up to our amazing help center. The second tab over will talk about health. The first tab talks about the product, so it will go down the breakdown of what each product has in it, the sodium milligrams, again, where the different macros come from. The second one's the health tag. It will talk about pregnancy and breastfeeding, liver issues, diabetes, type 1, type 2, kidney stones. It'll answer all those questions found right there. So if you replay this and you don't get your questions answered, then you can simply go to the Amazing Help Center and get your questions answered there. You can also go to proveitnow.com/ketou. Dr. Andrew's done some amazing videos. They're super short and simple. Get to the point. They're labeled amazing. They're just a couple minutes long. So don't forget to go to KetoU and use those question and answer there. So again, thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for changing time with me. I always feel blessed. You guys inspire me every week to learn more about ketones and learn more about what's happening with the studies going on. I got my Keto Bible this week, so I've been indulging in that and super excited to get through that and all the amazing information that they have offered there. So if you don't have the Keto Bible, get that. See you all at Keto Academy. I think there's tickets still available. I haven't checked today, but hopefully there is. So you can find those Keto Academy tickets on the event page. Thank you for posting that link. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys all September 7th and 8th. Have an amazing week, and we'll be back with a different specialist next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. And thank you for joining me.